She had ended the relationship that was too toxic and too abusive for her. But regardless, Ntokozo died in the hands of her ex-boyfriend who murdered her because he no longer could take the rejection of her not wanting to get back together with him. Today I'll be taking you through the story of Ntokozo Xaba. May her soul rest in peace. So before we begin, I'd like to emphasize that this story is shared with the utmost respect to the victim and their loved ones. Every story I share comes from a place of empathy because these aren't just crimes and statistics, they're lives, families, and memories. My goal is to bring awareness, not to sensationalize or entertain, but to make sure that their story is never forgotten. So, hi, thank you so much for viewing. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Ntokozo Mayenzi Xaba was about to turn 21 years old when the incident happened. She was born on the 12th of February in 2002. She was born in Newcastle and she was born to mother Tolagele and father Mduduzi Xaba. She grew up in Newcastle along with her siblings and she went to Newcastle High School for high school. Her family described her to be a very smart kid and to be a very honest and loving person. At school, she did very well and she joined the hockey team. Her family and friends recalled her to be a big dreamer. Ntokozo in high school was a very active girl. She did very well when it came to academics and also when it came to her sports. As I've mentioned, that she played hockey as well. While in high school, she met a young man called Ncebo Thusi. Ncebo was 3 years older than her and they fell in love. They started a relationship. Ntokozo and Ncebo were happily together and they went on with their young love. Ncebo then matriculated and he had to leave Newcastle for varsity. He went to Pretoria and enrolled at Tshwane University of Technology, where he enrolled for a chemical engineering. Ntokozo continued at Newcastle until she matriculated too, and they were still dating. Ntokozo matriculated and then she left Newcastle and came to Pretoria as well. She got enrolled to Tshwane University and she enrolled for integrated communications there. And now they were together in a varsity, the same varsity, with that whole lot of freedom. So they were going strong. It was amazing. Also, it seemed. At Tshwane, they were doing very well when it came to academics. Ncebo was doing chemical engineering, as mentioned, and Ntokozo was doing integrated communications, as mentioned. But since Ncebo had previously played rugby in high school, he continued to play rugby in his varsity level as well. He did very well to a point that he had recently joined the junior Blue Bulls team and had a very promising career when it came to rugby. Okay, time went by, they were still in love, they were still together, until at some point Ntokozo revealed to her family and friends that she was no longer happy in the relationship. She revealed that she was in an abusive relationship with Ncebo. Ncebo was abusing her, Ncebo was controlling her, Ncebo was beating her up. So she decided to open a case against Ncebo. A protection order was issued, but nothing was done about the case. So the relationship continued, but now Ntokozo could no longer take it, so she decided to end the relationship. She ended the relationship, and now expecting to be free from the toxicity, but it wasn't like that at all. Now Ncebo started stalking Ntokozo. He started following her, and when he would cross paths with her, he would beg her to come back to him and end up being physical even after the relationship had ended. He would beat her up because she didn't want to get back with him. This continued, and Dogozo tried, she really tried to detach and be away from him as possible. But he kept on following her and stalking her. But then all of this happened while it was around the end of the year. So now Ntokozo could finally get some peace when the schools closed. She went home. And even though Ncebo was also from Newcastle, but she was safer at home because he wouldn't be stalking her or coming around at her at whichever way he liked because she was home. So the following year began. Ntokozo had to go back to Pretoria. She had to go back to school. So she did. And she went back to rest when she had settled and registered and all of that. On the 1st of February 2023, she and her friends decided to go out and chill and catch up since they had not seen each other for a while. And they did. They went out, they got some drinks, they chilled out, and then they came back to Ntokozo's residence and continued to chill out there. And while they were at Ntokozo's, Ncebo and his friends came by and asked to join the girls. And they did. They all chilled out and everything was going well. After some time, when it was time for them to leave, for other people to leave, Ncebo asked to speak to Ntokozo alone. The friends hesitated because they knew the nature of their relationship, but Ntokozo felt like she would be okay, so they left. And the following morning, when Ntokozo's friends couldn't reach her, they got concerned since they had left her with Ncebo the previous night. So they went to her room because they tried reaching her on the phone and she was not answering. They went to her room and knocked and knocked. While knocking, they discovered a blood stain on the door handle. So they kicked the door. And to their demise, they found Ntokozo laying in a pool of blood on her bed. She had been stabbed. They quickly called for security, and security called emergency services. When emergency services arrived, unfortunately, Ntokozo was declared dead on the scene. So the friends told the police that they left Ntokozo with Ncebo the previous night, and they told them the nature of their relationship. So Ncebo was then arrested the following morning. It is alleged that Ncebo and Ntokozo went to her room the previous night. They talked. He begged her to get back with him again as usual. She rejected him as usual, but Ncebo could no longer take it, so he now stabbed her. He now killed her. This caused an outrage, even at RES, even at the university. The SLC members were threatening to kill Ncebo if he was ever released on bail or anything like that. The community was angered. They demanded justice for Ntokozo. Togozo's family was in deep grief, still is. They lost their child, they lost their daughter, they lost a promising future. She tried living that relationship, but still it took her away from them. Ngebo was then arrested and he was set for trial, but then the trial got postponed and it was postponed to this November 2025. So Ngebo is still to go to trial and to be sentenced. He is currently charged with premeditated murder and defeating the ends of justice, but is to go to trial for sentencing. The community, the varsity, the country at large was disturbed by this case. This was yet another gender based violence case in our country, and people call for justice, people call for harsher penalties against perpetrators like this. Another young soul, full of life, full of promise, a future ahead of her, cut short unnecessarily just like that. May Ntokozo's soul rest in peace, and may her story continue to remind us the importance of awareness, compassion, and justice. Thank you for watching, and thank you for remembering her. Lastly, please help spread awareness by liking and sharing. Also, comment if you'd like to suggest a case I should cover, or if you'd like to add or ask anything regarding the case. I'll see you on the next one.